Hello, welcome to the Wall of Live Babies. I'm here with Ashley McMasters. We're going to do the btsh interview. Ashley, how long have you been playing in the league for?
I've been playing in the league since 2009.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. And even when I had a couple seasons, I had 2 different seasons that I didn't get to play because of injury. I was still there plenty of times cheering on my team and hanging out with everyone because that's just how much I love btsh.
Okay. Could you give us like a little brief rundown of sort of like a abridged version of your statement for us?
Sure. As I said, I've been in the league for 7 years, or since 2009, and I love playing. And I've played hockey my entire life. I started with field hockey, and then I transitioned to street hockey after graduating college. And I just love hanging out with you guys. And I decided in the last year or so that I wanted to take on a more bigger responsibility within the league. I started off with reffing and helping out here and there, and now I want a bigger role because the league has so much potential, and I want to help it grow and stay awesome.
Cool. So I'm going to walk you through the questions that we went over. This one comes from Amy Mason Jones. She sort of just wants a general idea of your decision-making process, sort of I guess how you can transition that with being in charge and helping run this league.
Sure. I'm a logical person to a fault. I'm also sort of a perfectionist, so I like to research different options. And a big part of what I do for researching is reaching out to other people and asking for their opinions. I really enjoy talking and hearing other people's feedback so that we can come up with the best solution. If there needs to be an emergency decision, I'm very good at making a quick decision that'll, fit the needs. But otherwise, I like to do what's needed to make a solution that's best for everyone.
Cool. This next question comes from Joanne from Poutine. She says, my question is more social. I've been in the league for 5 or 6 years. I don't want to say that it used to be more fun, but I want to know, what are your ideas to make it more fun again?
Sure. btsh is an amazing community. We have well over 400 players, probably almost 500. And my goal is to get more of them involved. More like at least a sort of a monthly event, whether it happens on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Friday night. And I wouldn't put all this on my shoulders. I would use other people's resources and use other people's ideas, and we'd create more social activities, and we would advertise them well in advance. So lots of people, including people who've been in the league 2 months and people who've been in the league 10 years, want to come out and hang out and enjoy what is btsh. Another idea I have is trying to go to different bars and trying to find someone to either partially sponsor or fully sponsor a tab for one team per week. So say the Gremlins or Unicorns or whatever whoever they're going to be this year, they would get it like 1 week, and then the Hookers and then Poutine would get it another week, to really try to encourage. That way you don't have to feel like you have to go out all the time. It's like a full-time job being social in btsh.
Sure.
But encourage people to come out and take advantage of what we have to offer.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great idea. So yeah, from there, Abby from the Rainbows asks, just change the year rate. So you've been in the league for 7 years now. What made you think this is the league you want to run?
Well, all of my friends will tell me have told me and will tell you that I'm a very good planner and organizer. I just planned a trip for 5 ladies to go to New Orleans. I planned a trip for Eric and I to go to Italy, my parents' trip to Ireland, and I've just planned all sorts of social, fun activities. And I've been doing it for years. And so I definitely want to put my talent, what I'm good at, towards something I love. And I love BTSH, and I want to give back. And I'm not in this for any sort of monetary gain. I know I get paid, but like I'm in this to really help the league grow and become even better than it is right now.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's good. So then I guess I'll on Phil from Ankle Biters. So basically, it's a statement and then his question. So Phil says the Ankle Biters have offered to throw 3 parties this year. We'll head up the All-Star game, an after-game party, and Joe P's Crab Fest, and then there'll be OC again. He said, I love Tim, but this man burned out on the job very quickly, maybe halfway through his first year. Before him was Adriano, who hated everyone he used to love halfway through his first year. Do you have an idea of how you can not burn out on this job?
Sure.
Which is a great question.
Well, RIP Tim and RIP Adriano. We love them both. But I definitely think I will prevent burning out by utilizing the other people in the league, by reaching out for help when I need it, and making committees, and kind of being more like not being like everything is on my shoulders. I really want to utilize other people, because other people are great at things, whatever they happen to be: party planning, organizing refs, or giving ref feedback, whatever the case may be. Other people have talents, and we need to use all of them. Like I said, we have 500 people in the league, and we can utilize their skills to make sure that the commissioner and the captains don't get too overrun with responsibility, and then nothing gets done because everyone's like, ah.
Yeah. That's pretty much, things that I realized, like, because the next question was from Chadwick, and it was actually to me. He wanted to know what the key components of the commissioner's role are. And it's sort of basically what you touched upon, with sort of like, having it be a part of the community. And I think when I sort of took over for Adriano, I was given, I was trained mainly on like the financial side and keeping everything organized in the daily routine, which the league, used to be, and you didn't have to go above and beyond with trying to get everyone to the same place, or trying to still continue that community. The community kind of fell apart slightly as the league grew, and that's just natural. So there is, there at that point there needs to be more attention put on, the social side of it. And when sort of the UHA pulled out, and like I had all these other obligations, it became like a full-time job. So the other stuff, it needs to be delegated. It's very crucial to having the league, continue and thrive and be a lot of fun, is by having all the people, that can be around and help you, whether they be paid or not. Like it's still, everyone would be, I know most people would be glad to volunteer time or to make a couple bucks, helping. And I think that's, that was sort of how I answered that question for Ben. And I think Ben wanted to play air hockey or something. So then the next one, then Rich Glanzer left. Okay, so then Sam from the Hookers asks, what would you do, if anything, about the refs drinking on the court? Because there had definitely been times during games when, even though the refs are getting paid $25 a game, you don't want to stop people from having fun, but also it can go past that barrier, and now you can have like a drunk ref, or showed up drunk and just continue drinking. So like, can you touch on that subject?
Sure. I think anyone who has a responsibility for the day should take their responsibility seriously. If they volunteered or if they're getting paid, they definitely need to take it, take the responsibility as it comes. That being said, it is a fun league. So if someone's had a beer, I'm certainly not going to say don't don't ref, stop reffing. And if I happen to, and I definitely, taking a step back, one of the things I want to do is try to have a little more oversight of the games while they're happening, both utilizing myself and or day refs. And if they see a game is intense and a ref has a beer in their hand, we're going to ask them to put it down. But if it's a laid back game where nothing's happening and the main thing they have to call is in and out of bounds and, make sure as long as their positioning's okay, I think it'd be more of a case-by-case scenario, but definitely a little bit more strict than it is now because, again, everyone wants the refs to be doing their job, and we want them to be doing it well. I'm not going to say I have a policy of no beer or a policy of beers for everyone, but...
Oh, Jesus.
What's wrong? Hello?
All right, we had a little fart there. I think are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay. It cut off at sort of what you were talking about with after if it's a chill game and all the refs are calling or the in and out of bounds. It cut off then. It froze.
Okay. Yeah. Just a quick recap. If it's a chill game and a ref is sipping on a beer on the sideline and he or she is doing a good job, I'm not going to go up and be like, you're out of here. I'm not a dictator. That's not the role. And again, yes, they're being paid $25, but again, someone still has to do it. And if nobody's doing it, no matter how much we offer to pay people, if no one's doing it, no one's doing it. So it's going to be a balance. And the main part of that is I want to have a little more oversight, like I said, with day refs and with myself and giving more feedback to refs. Everyone can improve. I've been reffing in the league since my second year, and I've been reffing sports since I was 13 years old. I started with soccer, and now I ref both soccer and hockey. And one of the biggest things you can get is more senior refs and more senior people within the organization giving you feedback. So I don't think the beer is necessarily a problem where it's going to cause games, to like drinking a beer is not the problem. The issue is we need to keep refs continuously being trained and getting more feedback. And I think that'll help improve it overall.
Cool. Awesome. So the next question comes from Julie Katz from Megatouch. She says, I have an issue on how the disciplinary committee is run. There's no communication. There's no real tracking. So if there are multiple offenses, the penalty should be stronger for a player. We should track warnings. People are getting suspended for games, and there's no communication on why or how the decision was made as to the punishment. There should be more transparency. Maybe we need to have DC meetings a couple times a year if the offenses rise to a certain level. When people are punished, captains need to have more of an understanding of why it happened. How do we get back to a place where there's transparency in the DC committee?
This is everything you said is something I've noticed myself. The disciplinary committee, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything else about it. And as someone who's been in the league for 7 years, I should have at least an inkling of how it works. So we definitely need to increase the communication and increase it actually meeting and increase its responsibility. And I would provide the oversight for that. I would follow up, like if we need to appoint 3, 4, 5 people on a disciplinary committee, then we will do that. Whatever the captains feel is best to respond to disciplinary infractions is what we'll go with. But I will make sure I have the oversight that whoever is appointed or is volunteering or being paid or however we take care of it is doing what they need to do. And we are tracking and we are following up and we are, if somebody needs to be suspended for 5 or 6 games, they need to be suspended for 5 or 6 games. And I'm not going to let that slide, but I'm also not going to take it's not me, it's not my decision. I'll be a part of the process, but I'm going to get feedback. And again, this comes back to having more oversight on the games, both of myself and day refs. They need to be, I want somebody watching the game outside of the rink from the refs to help have another opinion about stuff that happens on the court. We're we're none of us are hockey professionals. All of us are here to, as Adriana used to say, chase an orange ball around on the court. This is what we're doing. And I want everyone to have fun. So if we have a couple of us non-professionals looking at it at once, we're going to get the right answer, and we're going to then give an appropriate punishment that everyone agrees on, and then we'll make sure we track it. So it will help keep the league safer and more fun for everyone.
Sure, awesome. I believe we have one hockey professional in the league now. That's Cherie. So.
Oh yes, we do.
Yeah. So Ryan Mills, again from Gremlins, Unicorns, TBD. It's a similar kind of question, but it really touches the obvious matter at hand with the league is how do we enforce don't be a dick better?
I think more feedback to the refs, who are the ones and ultimately are who are going to have to make that call. I'm definitely open to making a few addendums to the rule book. One of the, if I become the commissioner, one thing I definitely want to do is make sure the most recent version of the rule book that's available is from 2012. I know addendums have been made, but they're not online. They're not in the binder. So I want to make sure we have everything up to date and clear where anyone can find it. And then if we need to make some more addendums, we'll make them. And so one is making sure everyone knows the rules. And then two is going ahead and making sure, sorry, is making sure that the refs are trained and know what they can and can't do with rule number one. Obviously, just because they don't like someone, they can't be like, all right, you're sitting because of rule number one. That's not what the rule is for. But if they I don't know, in all 7 years that I've played, I've seen it called once or twice, you know? It should be called more. I think it's a great rule to just be like, hey, we're giving the team the other ball because you're being a dick. And it'll help calm the game down. And it's going to take a more proactive effort from captains, keeping the players in line, which I will be asking out of all of you guys. And if you do that, then I'm going to make sure I'm doing my best to provide your teams with refs that are respectful and know the rules and call the game consistently and call it safe. And then we'll go from there.
Cool. The last question we had before everybody fizzled was from Adam Rubens again, and it was a pretty interesting question. One of the things that we instituted was the whole promotion elevation thing across divisions. There's a process. However, do you think that all decisions made about what division a team should be in should be based on the elevation model? For instance, like Instant Karma last year, you know, them going down a division and filthier since they became like you know, mega team went up and things like that. Like, you know, there's going to be teams that will unfold. Like Rich has a new team this year. There won't be the Elves. It'll be Fuzz. So things like that, like how teams are determining. And you're familiar with the process of just, you know, towards the end of the season, right? With how teams move up and down the divisions.
Yeah, I understand the rule of it. He was asking if it should be just follow the rules strictly, or if we should have strict plus or minus like exceptions.
Well, I think the question was, however, do you think that all decisions made about what division a team should be in should be based on the elevation model? Or do you think, you know, there's like the way that people are like sort of discussing with each other, captains, about the new teams and stuff, they both seem fine with it because like they're creating new teams or whatever, and they want to, you know, they want to just have their new team, but they also don't want to, you know, create controversy. But that sometimes technically doesn't fall under the specific rule that, you know, how the teams move up and down during the division. Kind of like, I mean, I just perceive it as sort of an open-ended kind of question where it's like, do you have like a process? Possibly, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You guys can chime in via the email after.
But the way I'm hearing the question, even if I did have a process, I feel like this is something that would have to be like approved by the captains. I think the relegation and promotion method is great because it kind of gives people something to fight for. Like you don't want to drop down, so like no one's gonna like, give up games. Like everyone's trying for something. But I do believe that exceptions are warranted at times. Like I think it was very good that Filthier was put up in the first division clearly last year because they ended up winning everything. So, but I wouldn't be the one who would make these decisions. I would, we could do a vote. We could, we would figure it out amongst the captains. That's something that affects everyone. So it's not just my decision. It would be all of your guys' decisions as you represent your teams. And we would come up with the exceptions. I would like to stick to the rule for the most part, but beyond that, if there needs to be an exception, we would figure it out together.
Cool. That's it for the questions. Once we finally got things going, it kind of went pretty smoothly. Do you have any sort of closing statement or anything that you'd like to say before we stop this live YouTube baby wall broadcast? I don't know if the captains at home can see my baby wall of babies, but well.
I do like the babies. That's the beginning of my closing statement. I've never been interviewed in such an invigorating environment. But mostly, like I said, is BTSH is a one-of-a-kind league. People who come in, everyone wants to join. That says a lot. We're an awesome group of people and an awesome organization, but we can get better. And I want to be that person who helps us get better across the board, socially, with the community, with each other, with the reffing, with the way we treat each other on the court. All of these things are places that we can get better, and I want to be the person who helps that happen. I appreciate you guys considering me and taking the time to listen to all my answers and dealing with my sick voice. And I'm sorry we weren't able to get this worked out on Saturday, but I think this worked out okay.
Yeah,
Thank you to Tim for putting so much effort into helping getting this done. Much appreciated.
Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome. Cool. Well, that's it, guys. This is the last raw of candidates, and I'll be emailing you shortly once we can figure out how to do that. But yeah, thanks guys for taking the time to listen. You'll be receiving an email probably by Friday morning, so you can share with your team. And this is Tim Brown signing off, and Ashley McMasters. Are you signing off as well?
I am signing off as well.
All right, cool. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.